So this is a pretty obscure ship, even for me, but I've always really liked the design. I think just because it was different and it wasn't white. This is the Betty. I'll call it a starship. From the Alien Resurrection film. I think that would make it Alien 4, technically speaking, in the timeline. I've always been a big fan of the original Alien series of films. I love the Dark Horse comics that ran off the back of them, and that then sort of brought in Predator into the same universe, even Terminator and RoboCop and, well, everyone basically. But this is an Eaglemoss Hero Collector's ship. It's one I got as part of one of the 3 for 2 offers, and so it's I effectively got a third off the normal asking price, which I was quite happy about. And I'm really interested to see what it looks like, because it wasn't a ship that got sort of lots and lots of beauty shots in the film itself, but it is intrinsic to the plot, and it's the ship that the heroes end up making their escape on, although not entirely alone, of course. So, without further ado, let me start by opening it up. So, as I would expect from Eaglemoss these days, very, very securely packaged. And we've got nice glossy little leaflets. The leaflets are always quite light on the Alien models. I found they're not as detailed as the Star Trek ship ones, but I think that's simply because there isn't that much background on them. You know, they sort of appear in the film, and there you go. And that's my certificate of authenticity, and apparently also a seal of quality. So there you are. So that's limited edition and all that good stuff. Let's crack the lid. So very easy to get into, but very, very well packaged. Now then, so standard issue Eaglemoss black stand there. They're very stable. They work really well, and they've got some non-slip on the bottom of them, which is great. So, excuse the rustling for a moment. You can tell it's a genuine unboxing, because otherwise I'd have done the rustling first. I'll just pop that there, and here she is. And as with most Eaglemoss models, she is very, very heavy, because she is very, very metal, of course, which is the lovely thing about these models. They are designed to last. There is plastic, where I'm holding her underneath is plastic, but they are otherwise, you know, significantly metal. So what always intrigued me about the Betty was that these elements here are basically engines, and given the sort of struts and the sort of the levers and pistons and so on that are attached there, you know, you can tell that she can vary the direction of thrust really, really easily, which in an atmosphere and in space would make her incredibly immovable. So I could see her sort of zipping and zagging and zipping through an asteroid belt quite happily. But she's also clearly designed for going inside atmosphere, otherwise you wouldn't have these wings. And this is what's interesting about having the model, because obviously, you know, you can actually sort of manipulate it and see. Now, I've got to stress, you know, obviously these are not toys. These are not toys. They're models. They're scale models. So you are not going to get these joints flapping around on an Eaglemoss spaceship. Basically, you're not. That's not going to happen. That's not what they do. If anything falls off, it's probably not designed to. Put it that way. It's very rare that it does mind. Before you know, that sounds negative, but it's not intended to be at all, because it just doesn't happen. So, you know, the level of detail in the painting is superb, and the Betty is just generally a very, very unusual looking ship. It's not, you know, it's got the sort of bilateral symmetry going on, yes, but it's just so busy. I've actually got the drop ship from Aliens on pre-order at the moment. That was part of the 3 for 2 order that I put in, and you can see there are certain echoes of that. There's nice big sort of turbine intake there, almost little sort of sub engines down here on the on the wing sections. It's just, she's a really, really interesting little ship as you know, these designs go. And as I say, you know, she's not white, she's not sort of really, really dark. She's sort of, you know, she's almost got a sort of camo paint job. I've no idea what this element here is. I don't know if it's an air brake or what, but it's a really interesting one to look at, which is why I decided to go for it, even though I still had many Star Trek ships I was after. But the Betty called to me. She called to me, so I felt it would be rude not to. So let's just see if she sits. She's quite happy sitting by herself, actually, even though she's on plastic. Let me move this box out of the way so you can have a. And the box is nice too. There's a nice shot of her on the front there, as you can see. Mentioning the film, and it's part of the Alien and Predator collection that Eaglemoss do. So let me just see if I can figure out how to attach it to a proper stand rather than me just sticking it down. So I always find this challenging. I think it does show you on the box where the connection point is for the stand, because it isn't always massively obvious, and I'm having that problem now. I don't know where she is. I would say there. So there she is. So yeah, I mean it's great. It's lovely. I really like that. I think it's just because it's so unusual, and there probably aren't that many people around who would actually be able to say what that is. So that gets sort of, you know, kudos points from me by the simple fact of it being deeply unusual. I don't know what you thought of the actual film itself. I mean, it was a little bit strange in places, but it has some really good actors in it, I thought, and I think they did the best they could with what they were given. So yeah, so that's the Betty. So it's always worth having a look at the Eaglemoss site. You know, they're constantly adding new models. I mean, I think Star Trek remains something of a focus for them, but it caters to a wide range of tastes. So do have a look. And I'm going to crack on because I succumbed to temptation and got a few more Star Trek XL ships. I would call this an XL model. Then I'm going to have a standard Star Trek model of theirs here. Actually, I can show you by comparison. But the Aliens ones, because they're more sort of limited run, I think, they tend to be sort of XL size, and that's fair in terms of their pricing as well. So although they don't call them XL, they are effectively that. You know, they're a good size model compared to the smaller Star Trek ones that are available. So I hope that's been of interest, and I will see you for the next one. Cheers.